Happy Monday. You know what time it is. Time for another edition of Monday Morning with Mo. Happy Monday to you. Thanks for coming out. If you don't know, this is Monday Morning with Mo. I am Attorney Mo DeWitt, and we meet you here every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on Facebook Live, YouTube Live to answer your legal questions. So thanks for joining us. It was a beautiful weekend out there. Hope you guys enjoyed the weekend. Hopefully you got outside and enjoyed some of that beautiful weather. Just so you guys know, we'll be doing some future meetups, hopefully. So I'm talking to Steve over at Porky's Barbecue about doing that. And one thing I did want to ask you, if you drop a comment below, is what day of the week do you think we should do it? I was thinking, maybe do it on like a Tuesday or a Monday, maybe a night of the week that the restaurant usually doesn't have a lot of business, so we can kind of give them a lot of business. But basically the idea is just get a bunch of people out there, meet up, we'll cover the food, you buy your drinks, and have a good time, give away some merch, that kind of stuff. If you want to be informed about when we do that, join our texting service. It's 407-698-3984. Just send a text message to that number, and then it'll send you a text message back where you have to click it to opt in, some legal stuff. But it's 407-698-3984. Go ahead and join that, and then you'll get notifications about everything that we do. And when we start doing this meetup thing, hopefully we'll start doing it, you'll get notifications about that too. So hope to see you on the texting service. And also, we're doing every Friday nights at 7 o'clock. We started doing a Facebook live stream as well. We're on the Soul Brother Kevin show on 1025 The Bone over in Tampa. And we do a little segment called You Be the Lawyer that we've been live streaming as well. So if you want to check that out, it's on Facebook, or you can always join us live if you want to participate. So anyways, let me get a little water here. We'll jump right into it here. So first question is from Sid. I like that name. Sid says, I was in a car accident in December. I went to the chiropractor. I've seen the orthopedist a few times. The insurance adjuster says that I'm only entitled to my out-of-pocket expenses after subtracting the amount that was paid by PIP. Is this correct? What about my pain and possibly needing future treatment? All right. So number one, Sid, this is why you really shouldn't be handling the claim on your own. You should get an attorney. I've done a ton of videos that, say basically those who have an attorney get it's really over 3 times more than those who go at it alone, which is the insurance company's own study that they did that says if you have a lawyer, basically you get between like 3 and 3.5 times the amount of someone who doesn't. And so this is one of the tricks that the insurance adjusters will use a lot. I don't know if I want to call it a trick, but it's a tactic that they use. They basically say, all right, you got $15,000 in medical bills. Your PIP covers $10,000. I'm just using round numbers. So I can only pay you $5,000. Well, that's not really the way it works. There's pain and suffering. There's lost wages. There's, what we call kind of loss of life, maybe activities you can't do in the future. There's future medical expenses that you may have, if there's going to be a future surgery or something like that. So there's a lot more that should be going into the analysis as far as what proper compensation here is. But this is a tactic that they use a lot to try to pay as little as possible, frankly. I'm sure we have some insurance adjusters who are out there listening, and hey, comment below if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's my experience. So Sid, I would highly recommend you hire an attorney. Basically, if the insurance company's study's correct that you would get about 3 times more on average, then even with lawyer fees coming out of it, you're still coming out ahead. So give me a call. Happy to talk to you about it, give you some advice, give you some feedback. I mean, hey, you're always welcome to handle the claim on your own, but I think you're doing yourself a disservice by doing so. But yeah, to answer your question, no, there's a lot more that should be going into calculating the compensation that you're entitled to rather than just what the insurance adjuster's telling you there. So great question. I do appreciate it. Let's go over to the voicemail line here. If you guys have a voicemail, or if you have a legal question and would like to leave us a voicemail, go ahead and do so. Give us a call, 407-536-6737. Number's down there rotating on the screen somewhere, but it is 407-536-6737. Or you can always shoot us an email askask@dewittlaw.com, and we'll answer those just like Sid did. So let's go ahead and go to the voicemail line here.
Hey, Mo, love the show. I got a question regarding workers' comp. I have injured myself outside of work. From what I believe, it's like a degenerative back issue. If my employer has me do something that is in the scope of my normal day-to-day, but on a more strenuous track, I guess I should say, am I covered if I further injure that pre-existing condition? Am I covered through workers' comp? As always, I appreciate all your information and everything you do on the Monday mornings and with the shows. Thank you. Bye.
All right, great question there. So the general rule is that workers' comp benefits are only for injuries related to job activities. However, when you're suffering from a pre-existing condition that's worsened by the job activities, then you may possibly be owed workers' compensation benefits. And so it's kind of a tough analysis. And, for this question here, I'd really need to know kind of what the pre-existing condition is and what the further injury was. But, for example, we previously had a case where the employee who was hired had a disease that basically made their bones more brittle and susceptible to breakage. I think it was like osteopenia or something like that. And so, the employer kind of takes you as you are, right? They're not going through and asking you, hey, these are pre-existing conditions. We're not covering that. That doesn't exist. So in this case that I was talking about here, there's this disease that made their bones more brittle. And then, that when they were moving a box, they suffered a severe leg fracture. And so that right there, even though it was a pre-existing condition, would 100% be covered by workers' comp benefits because the injury occurred on the job. Even though you had a pre-existing condition, it was obviously made much worse by this fracture that occurred on the job. I think where it becomes tougher is stuff like, back pain, right? So if you had, a disc herniation that maybe worsened or slightly worsened on the job, there could be a causation issue there. Was it actually from something job related, or was it, just a pre-existing condition that you aggravated in your personal life? Because remember, workers' comp, there's no negligence factor, meaning that your employer doesn't have to be at fault. It simply provides coverage if you're injured on the job. So I hope that gives you some insight. I mean, basically, there is a possibility that it could be covered by workers' comp benefits. It's just going to come down to more of a factually specific, determination to determine whether, really you can prove it, whether the causation aspect, can you prove that it was actually made worse while you were on the job doing work activities, essentially. So great question. Always appreciate the voicemails. If you guys have any legal questions out there, that's what we're here for every Monday morning, 8 a.m., which you should already know because you're here. Shoot us an email, askask@dewittlaw.com. Leave us a voicemail, 407-536-6737. And we'll go on to the next question, which is from Barbara this morning. So Barbara says, I want to know if this information that I found is correct. I wanted to know if I had to report alimony payments on my 2020 tax return. As a result of the 2018 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, states that alimony recipients no longer have to. However, my divorce was final on August 1st, 2014, before the 2018 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So I'm assuming that I must continue to claim or report alimony on my tax return, and my ex-husband can deduct alimony payments on his tax return. So yes, that's pretty much correct, Barbara. So if you don't know, what Barbara is basically talking about is alimony previously used to be an off-the-top deduction for the person who was paying it, and then if you're receiving alimony, you had to count that as income to you on your taxes, just like any other income. So I think it was end of 2018, beginning of 2019, under the new tax act, it basically eliminated all that. So what happened there was alimony is no longer deductible. It's not an off-the-top deduction. You now are paying alimony with post-tax dollars, and the person who's receiving alimony doesn't have to pay taxes on it. However, here, Barbara's divorce occurred before that act went into place. So, she's kind of grandfathered in, and she's still under the old scheme. However, if that alimony is modified, it could then fall under the new tax scheme, or it could be grandfathered in under the old tax scheme if certain language is included in the court order to do so. But as far as Barbara's question goes, since her alimony was awarded prior to that act going into place, it is still income to her. She's still going to have to claim that on her taxes. But I do always recommend consult with a CPA. I'm not a tax expert by any means, but that is my understanding of the law. So hope that helps, Barbara. If you need if you have any other questions about that, let me know. Oddly enough, we got 2 emails from 2 different people with almost the same question on the same day. So I guess people are doing their taxes. I don't know. So kind of odd that both came in almost back to back from completely different people, but I won't read the other questions since it's pretty much the same thing. So anyways, that's all we have this morning. I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. Go out there, enjoy the day, and hopefully we get some great weather next weekend as well. In the meantime, you guys have any legal issues, need anything, shoot me an email, give me a call, shoot me a Facebook message, or hunt me down somehow. But always here, happy to help. Otherwise, have a great week, and I'll see you guys on Friday if you join us for that show, or next Monday for another episode of Monday Morning with Mo. Take care, everybody.